Welcome to the Mystery and History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. In April 1986, at the Chernobyl nuclear plant control room in Ukraine, operators monitored gauges during the incident that released radioactive material. Panels of buttons, dials, and red lights show reactor parameters under routine testing. Ash-covered ruins and rubble scar Tokyo's landscape after the 1945 bombings. Collapsed buildings and empty streets reveal the devastating firestorms that consumed large sections of the city. In 1976, Stockholm, ABBA member Agnetha Fältskog licks a lollipop. She wears casual clothes and holds the candy delicately as she looks into the camera. In 1932, Manhattan, Charles Clyde Ebbets poses on a steel beam over 100 meters high while photographing the Rockefeller Center's construction. Women relax on a beach in the 1940s, listening to a portable radio, soaking up news and music. The battery-powered device picked up AM broadcasts along the coast. During World War II, a fighter plane veered on landing aboard a Pacific aircraft carrier and struck the winches. The pilot ejected in time and was rescued by an emergency raft deployed by the deck crew. In the 1930s, baby cages were attached to apartment windows to ensure children got fresh air and sunlight. The wireframe compartments hung from the building facade by chains. In 1961, West Berlin residents show their children to grandparents in East Berlin. Shortly after the Berlin Wall's construction in August, families used window gaps along the border zone for visual visits to stay connected across generations. In 1942, a Japanese-American woman embraces her children as they're sent to a U.S. relocation camp. The measure, part of national security directives during World War II, impacted thousands of families across the country. In The Hague, between 1944 and 1945, children received half a liter of daily supplemental food through the Kinderweizendienst program during the Hunger Winter. This interfaith initiative was established to combat extreme shortages from the German blockade and ensure basic energy for growth and health. On May 1, 1936, German officials host Archbishop Cesare Orsenigo, the papal nuncio, in Berlin. The meeting took place in the Reichstag's Hall of Mirrors as part of regime church negotiations. On June 6, 1944, a captured German soldier during the Normandy landings sips a cup of coffee offered by Allied troops. A man poses holding a punt gun, a giant shotgun used for duck hunting in mid-19th century British marshes. The long-barreled weapon fired multiple lead pellets to take down over 50 birds at once. In 1939, Robert Wadlow of Alton, Illinois, is photographed at an impressive 8 feet 11 inches tall and weighing 438 pounds. He was acknowledged as one of the tallest men in modern history. In 1900, rural Bulgaria, farmers used an elephant as draft power for plowing fields. The elephant pulled the plow through livestock and cereal crops, replacing mules and tractors that were not yet available. In 1877, London, a chimney sweep and his assistant worked with wire brushes, scrapers, and canvas bags to remove soot from chimneys. In July 1957, Marilyn Monroe appears about 2 months pregnant on Amagansett Beach in New York. On July 30, 1969, President Richard Nixon visited American troops camped in South Vietnam, arriving by helicopter at a coastal base to inspect combat operations during the Vietnam War. In 1917, Petrograd, a young Joseph Stalin appears as a revolutionary commissar during the Bolshevik Revolution, taking part in actions that toppled the provisional government. In 1933, United States, children line up at a school for free soup and a slice of bread during the Great Depression. In the 1970s, pedestrians watched the facade of the Golden Dollar Topless Bar and Lounge on Times Square in New York. In 1969 at the Los Angeles Zoo, Lana Wood poses beside a cheetah during an event supporting endangered species conservation. Around 1900 in London, a street meat vendor, known as the cat food man, serves small scraps to dogs and cats lined up in front of his cart. In 1954, Marilyn Monroe visited wounded servicemen at a Yokohama, Japan hospital, offering words of comfort and solidarity. Among them, a soldier with a spinal fracture lay face down for proper healing. In 1974, Harold Whittles hears sounds for the first time after being fitted with a hearing aid. He reacts emotionally as he perceives voices and noises he'd never heard before, marking a breakthrough in auditory rehabilitation. In July 1969, an undercover officer patrols Brooklyn streets during discreet crime prevention operations. He stations himself near a known hangout to observe suspicious activity without revealing his identity. During World War II, members of the Women's Timber Corps cut and processed wood in UK forests, supplying logs for construction and infrastructure repairs. Around 1935, a Zeppelin under construction in a Friedrichshafen, Germany hangar shows its metal framework suspended by cables, while workers move on elevated platforms. In 1944, Washington, D.C., massive metal cabinets housed FBI fingerprint files, with drawers holding millions of records. In August 1973, the John Amos Power Plant's water cooling towers loom on the horizon behind a riverside home along the Kanawha River near Polka, West Virginia. On June 27, 1923, aviators Lowell H. Smith and John P. Richter completed the first mid-air refueling over San Diego, California. In April 1972, Apollo 16 astronaut Charles Duke left a photo of his family on the lunar surface as a gesture of affection and remembrance. The image showed his wife and children gathered in a serene moment of togetherness. In 1959, gold-scale pans at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York weighed bullion bars deposited by the U.S. Treasury and foreign central banks. Around 1905 in the Arizona Territory, White Mountain Apache natives sit astride horses wrapped in woven wool blankets with geometric patterns which provided warmth and symbolized cultural identity. In 1916, suffrage activist Lady Florence Norman rides her motor scooter through London streets to reach the office where she supervised. The lightweight, nimble scooter let her bypass heavy traffic and arrive quickly at Central City offices. In 1965, Sister Mary Kenneth Keller became the first woman in the United States to earn a Ph.D. in computer science. She defended her dissertation at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee on the basic programming language. On July 16, 1969, Neil Armstrong's family watches the Apollo 11 launch at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, standing behind safety rails as the Saturn V rocket rises in a plume of smoke and fire. The first commercial Boeing 707 jet flight took place on July 15, 1954, in Seattle, Washington, with only the test crew on board. The aircraft reached a cruising speed of about 550 miles per hour and flew above 39,000 feet. A rear view of the Hoover Dam in the Nevada desert, photographed in 1936 before it was flooded by the Boulder City Reservoir. In 1946, Mangan Street, New York, a man leans from a second-floor window, watching the street below as a horse pokes its head through the adjacent opening. In 1976, Kenny Baker eats lunch backstage on the Star Wars set in the Tunisian desert. Seated in a makeshift tent, he wears the R2-D2 costume and holds a basic sandwich. In 1953, an automatic chocolate dispenser in the New York subway sold candy bars for just 1 penny. Installed during subway line expansions, it popularized quick snacks for commuters. In 1984, George Lucas directs Jedi scenes in the Arizona desert, inside an ILM warehouse, surrounded by scale models of sets and vehicles. In 1946, Egyptians taste Pepsi Cola for the first time at an outdoor Cairo cafe. They hold tall, ice-filled glasses as they savor the imported U.S. soda. In 1927 Berlin, children play in the streets, running among makeshift gardens and bicycles leaning against old facades. They skip rope and kick balls on cobblestone sidewalks as residents watch trams pass by. At a 1987 gaming expo, Mike Tyson tries out the video game Mike Tyson's Punch-Out at the Nintendo booth. He grips the controller and watches the ring on the screen, ready to practice his virtual punches. A 1950s automatic cocktail machine popular in U.S. bars dispensed precise shots of rum into metal cups that slid along the interior to the front opening. In 1957, first graders in a New York classroom watch The Science Corner. A small television at the back of the room showed simple experiment demonstrations to teach science visually. The Hotel Astor opened on Times Square in Manhattan in 1909, notable for its ornate facade and elegant towers. It became one of the city's most prestigious social hubs, hosting balls, dinners, and galas. Sunset School in Mary, Pocahontas County, West Virginia, was photographed in October 1921, showing students and teachers gathered in front of the wood-frame building with large windows. In 1932, a mobile coffee station served hot drinks on London streets. The compact vehicle had a heated water tank and holders for porcelain cups, catering to workers and pedestrians on cold days. In 1867, a family poses in front of their summer home in Stockholm, Sweden. The light-painted wooden house on Lake Mälarens shore served as a summer retreat for leisure and rest. In 1910, British tourists pose before the Great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt. Dressed in Edwardian formal wear, they observe the ancient stone statue as local guides point out architectural details. A handwritten notice tacked to a wall in a dirty hotel room in 1926 warns that snoring is forbidden. The space had peeling wallpaper, worn furniture, and a narrow bed for transient guests. In 1979, a roller skater weaves through pedestrians on Midtown Manhattan sidewalks. She wears four-wheel skates, a helmet, and athletic gear as casually dressed passers-by walk by. Miss Europe 1930 contestants pose on the main stage in Nice, France, wearing elegant gowns and delicate tiaras. Participants from across Europe display formal attire as they await the judge's verdict. In 1908 Stockholm, children attend an elementary school seated at wooden desks lined up under natural light. The teacher uses a chalkboard to teach reading and arithmetic, while maps and textbooks hang on the walls. A 1921 U.S. advertising poster urged people to eat a bowl of ice cream every day. It linked daily ice cream consumption to well-being and vitality during the summer months. In 1960s London, a young man rides a scooter along the Thames River. His route passes landmarks like Tower Bridge and the South Bank, busy spots that made the fast, lightweight transport popular among students and workers. At the turn of the 20th century in Naples, Italy, a street vendor sells tambourines. He carries a stack of instruments ready for festivals and religious processions. In December 1961, at Pleasant Park School in Ottawa, Ontario, a teacher reads aloud from a book to children seated around a table. In a colorized 1922 photo, Charlie Chaplin sits beside ballerina Anna Pavlova on a simple bench, both wearing their era's elegant attire. In a 1960s family photo, Bruce Lee and Linda Lee pose with their children Brandon, left, and Shannon in their home, dressed in typical casual attire of the era. In 1888 New York, elementary students attend class in wooden desks lined up under natural light streaming through tall windows. In 1955 New York, Marilyn Monroe appears nearly makeup-free in a studio, revealing her natural expression and soft skin features. In the 1920s, a gentleman tips his hat in greeting to a group of ladies wearing elegant hats and dresses. In 1900, 25-year-old Winston Churchill poses elegantly in a photo studio. Dressed in a dark overcoat, tie, and bowler hat, he stands with his hands in his pockets and a determined gaze. Market stalls line the sidewalk displaying fresh tomatoes, artichokes, and lemons in wooden crates as sacks of grain are weighed on an iron scale. In an 1890s North American city market interior, wooden shelves display canned goods, bulk grains, and fresh fruit, and a marble counter serves as the spot where the merchant weighs products on a hand scale. In the early 20th century, a family poses in front of their new wooden house with conical turrets, embodying the American dream. The parents and son, dressed in formal attire, stand proudly beside an early automobile parked on the curb. In 1945 Paris, a woman walks the streets carrying a baguette under her arm and 6 wine bottles in a basket. In 1909, a young woman kneels by a wood-fired oven to remove her freshly baked bread. A cast iron kettle and pots rest nearby, creating a period kitchen scene. In 1950, Napawa, New Zealand, baby carriages became essential for families. These vehicles let parents transport their children comfortably along dirt roads and rural paths. In 1957, Dusseldorf, a barge carries whiskey barrels down the Rhine River. Oak casks line the wooden deck as an operator inspects the cargo. A large 1920s grocery store had shelves lined with cans, packages, and fresh produce under hanging lights. A wooden counter welcomed customers with personalized service, while wide aisles made it easy to move around. In 1953, a Queen's Guard sentinel stands at attention before the Tower of London. Tourists in period attire approach, trying to get his attention with waves and smiles. John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Bouvier were married on September 12, 1953, at St. Matthew's Cathedral in Washington, D.C. The groom was a U.S. Senator, and the bride came from a prominent journalism family. On April 15, 1955, brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald opened the first McDonald's in San Bernardino, California, at Walnut Avenue and E Street. They served burgers, fries, and milkshakes made on an assembly line. John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Bouvier married on September 12, 1953, at St. Matthew's Cathedral in Washington, D.C., gathering family members and dignitaries for the ceremony. In the 1960s, Swissair first-class passengers traveled in roomy cabins with upholstered seats and fold-down tables. The service featured gourmet meals on fine china and personalized attention, with windows framing snow-capped alpine views. In the 1970s, Lufthansa flight attendants' uniforms featured skirt suits and blazers in soft blues and greens, paired with button-down blouses and discreet scarves around the neck. In 1963, Steve McQueen and his wife Neela Adams relax on lounge chairs by a Los Angeles pool. They smile as McQueen wraps his arm around Neela, who wears a checkered swimsuit and rests her head on his shoulder. In 1872, London, 10-year-old George Davey was sentenced to 1 month of hard labor at Wandsworth Prison for stealing 2 rabbits. The punishment reflected Victorian laws that harshly penalized petty theft. In 1944, the U.S. Pacific Fleet took part in the operation to recapture the Marshall Islands from Japanese control, deploying aircraft carriers and destroyers to the region. In 1953, near the Korean border, a woman embraces her son, who escaped from a North Korean POW camp. The reunion took place after he survived days in harsh conditions with help from neighbors. In 1932, New York, a man stands before the Bankers Trust counter at 14 Wall Street, holding a sign demanding the return of his $2,950 savings during the Great Depression. Around 1940, Dubuque, Iowa, boys play with homemade bows and arrows near railroad yards. In 1944, American soldiers in Rome talk with a Vatican Swiss Guard member as they watch the palace's ceremonial routine. The guard, wearing the traditional colorful uniform and metal helmet, explains access rules to the inner courtyard. A secretary in London showcases the latest 1966 fashion trends during an in-house presentation at her company. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.